Meeting of the Caryville Mayor and Board of Aldermen. Order, call the roll, please.
Mr. Patrick Peakley. Mr. Aaron. Mr. Eric Smith.
Here.
Ms. Beth Lawson.
Here.
Mr. Dwayne Dixon.
Here.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Here.
Mayor Sisbury.
Yes. We do have a quorum. Before we have the prayer, I'd like for everybody to remember, well, inform you, if I don't know, we lost two wonderful ladies in the community this past week. Former council member Danny Forster, his wife, passed away this past week, and yesterday Patrick Peakley's grandmother passed away. Both of them was wonderful ladies, and especially Miss Peakley. To me, I grew up across the street from them, knew her all my life, so it's been a Eddie's known her. I guess Eddie's known her all of her life. Once has been around here, and that's been that's going to be a big blow to Patrick and in the whole neighborhood. So before we have a prayer, everybody remember her, those families that's lost loved ones too. Warren, will you say a prayer for us, please, sir?
Dear Heavenly Father, we bow in your presence. We thank you for this day. We thank you for the many blessings of life and liberties we have in this country. Now go with us, lead, guide, and direct, protect us, each one that's here tonight, that they may give them wisdom and knowledge, and for the betterment of the city. And all those are sick and afflicted in body. Watch over those that death is entered in their families, dear Heavenly Father. Come to them in this hour. These favors we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Warren. Okay, everybody, a few minutes to look over the minutes of the prior meetings. We had a regular meeting and we had a beer board meeting. Everybody's had a chance to look. I'll entertain a motion. Everybody had a chance to look them over? Do I hear a motion? We accept them as presented.
Second motion.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Citizens input? Okay. All right. Communication from the mayor. I pretty much had my communication at the front about those two precious ladies we lost this past week. So, other than that, I'll dispense with that. We'll go on through the meeting. Okay, financial report. Tracy, read that please, man.
Our financial report for the month of October 2017 in our general fund. $502,399.95. Reserve for special fire protection fees is $113,639.35. And off to the side, you see where I minus the fire traffic.
Okay.
And reserve for running day fund is $45,000. The adjusted general fund balance is $343,760.60. And our State Street A fund is $36,277.58. And the industrial fund is $868.89. And the drug fund is $12,976.49. And our general fund revenue and expenditures, our revenue for the month of October is $110,117.63. For our expenditures is $175,499.95. $490.65, with a difference of $65,373.02. It's pretty much, but on our second page, we paid out a lot in the month of October. We've actually paid out $82,000. If we didn't have to pay that out, we would have been in the good of $16,746.
I know the almost $19,000 worth of insurance, that comes out about this time every year. Then the snowplow and spreader, that was budgeted item, and like I said, the truck came out of the fire protection fees. That's where I said, let's take those away. We're over $16,000 to the year. That's just a heavy month this month. We should be right at 33%. We're at 36%, and that's where I guess the truck kind of skewed that number a little bit. We should fall right back in line as we go on down. Okay, do I hear a motion we accept the financial report as presented?
Make the motion. Second.
Discussion? Call a roll, please.
Mr. Patrick Feebly, Mr. Eric Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Dwayne Gibson.
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Yes.
Mayor Stixberry.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, reports from council members. Mr. Lawson.
Street and sanitation. We had 59 ton of garbage, 3 ton of recycling, 5 ton of brush. They cleaned the ditches on Gardner Lane, Posey Lane, and Ridge Road, Narrow Lane and Loud Lane. Fixed the slide on Ridge Road and rock line ditches. Patched potholes on Loud Lane and 141. Cut trees down and trimmed. Picked up brush throughout the city. Winterized Asbury Park. Pressure washed sidewalks at City Hall. And got snow plow and snow boxes ready for the F-250. That's all down.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Town of Caryville monthly report for the police department, October the 17th. Okay. Yep, that's right. Okay. We patrolled 9,498 miles. We had 249 complaints. We had 12 arrests, 41 citations, 4 drug arrests, and 24 accidents. Looks like we're doing pretty good on our drug arrest and taking care of the city.
All right, sounds
Everybody's done good. Appreciate you guys.
Ms. Beth, library?
All right, we've had 1,118 items checked out, 977 checked in, 429 ebooks checked out. They added 10 new people, added 50 items. There was 245 people, computer users. They held 6 children's programs with 76 people in attendance, and the total library attendance was 516. They also started, their story times are going to be on Thursdays at 10:30, and then they held a book character pumpkin contest, and there was 9 entries, and they were really cute. I seen them. I took some pictures of them. And then they also had the Alan Miller ghost story event. Busy month.
500 people.
500 people visited our little library.
Still amazes me.
Yeah.
Still amazes me. All right, Mr. Smith?
Fire department for last month, we had 1 false call, 1 vehicle fire, 2 tractor trailer fires, 1 commercial fire, 2 alarm calls, had 11 accidents, had 1 public service call, and assisted ambulance service twice for a total of 22 calls for last month. And I know I'll speak for Eddie and the rest of the guys on the fire department. Anybody out there that's willing to volunteer, wants to join the fire department, the doors are always open. That's something that's facing not only this area, but anywhere you go across the south where I work.
Be there when I get there.
To tell everyone more than welcome. Comes, we meet second and fourth Thursdays of every month, and they're more than glad to take an application.
All right.
And there's a lot of training to be a fire too, but the department city's always been willing to step up and fulfill what we need to make sure everybody's trained the way they are. But our doors are always open to volunteers.
How's the part-time working? Is it working out good?
It's the best we can be asked for at this point. I mean, it's still, right now we've got 2 guys, I think, that's fulfilled through with it. They work full-time jobs as well, and
Yeah.
it's still part-time for full-timers.
Do you have 2 people designated for that, or just anybody that comes in on part-time?
What we've done with the fire department, Eddie, is we put a list up, anybody on the department that's been wanting to go to the part-time register, they come over to see the city and get a drug test took care of, make sure their records are compliant with what we need on file. And 2 guys is it just 2 of them, Eddie, that actually fulfilled all the paperwork. But there again, the amount of training that's got to be done that the state requires, it's not like it used to be when few of us started, just sign up and go fight fire. There's 64 hours now before you can even,
So you have to be qualified to do this part-time?
64 hours before you can even go out there on a call and start fighting the fire. And like I said, we've got 2 guys out of our department, 20 guys that was able to do it. And it's just a matter of having time to do it's the biggest problem.
Is any of the other guys, are they interested in trying to get that quality time in for that?
There's a couple that's put up, but we've told them what they need to do, but they've not come through and fulfilled to get their drug tests. And it's like anything else with the city, we gotta make sure that they're covered. I think letting one buy with something else that the others are getting by with.
No, I know we're talking in the future about our part-time people. I'd like to have people in line for that position instead of having to wait, that would be good.
Right now, 2 is what we was hoping for. There's, I think, 4 signed up, 2 fell through, and 2 didn't stick with it. So,
Yeah, at least we got to.
but like I said, the biggest problem we have with it, and it's not only caryville. You go up in the fire service and these others that are volunteer. Everybody works full time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I get home from work, and I'm sure everybody else the same way. You got stuff you got to do around the house, and the days are still the same length. It just seems like we're getting shorter as we go through with it.
Yeah.
But it's working out. Like I said, it's the best we can be asked for. We're getting a lot of stuff done. A lot of the hydrants got weed-eated and mowed to burn off the volunteer part of it this year. So
Good.
that's all I've got.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I would like to say thank you to everybody that had come out and helped with trunk or treat. It was awesome. We had lots and lots and lots of people.
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that, but I didn't.
I think there was more this year than in the previous years. Kid-wise, we did have several. I think there was 12 people participated, 12 cars maybe. So, but I mean, we did have lots of kids this year.
What do you think, 750 to 800 kids probably?
At least.
At least.
Yeah.
We had a lot.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody that came out.
Scotty's had the little, I think they was 300 or 400 kids when they were there.
Yeah.
It was and the weather was good for a change.
Yes, that's true.
It was good, it was good, I'm sorry.
Well, I'd like to say that this is my first time that I actually participated, and I was blown away with all the kids that come through there. I could not believe it.
Lots of kids.
I mean, we sat there several times afterward. And we estimated it had to be at least 800 children that come through there, and a lot of the grown-ups was dressed up too. And but wow, I mean, we stayed busy the whole time giving out candy.
So thank you guys.
You're welcome, it was great.
You're welcome.
All right, do I hear a motion to accept all reports from council members? Department heads, I'm sorry.
I have a question.
So, yeah, second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any old business? All right, new business. Before we start new business, there's two items, number 5 and number 7, that were, Patrick was going to discuss those two items, 5 and 7, and he requested that we table those until next month. So we'll just let those slide until next month. All right,
Which one?
5 and 7. All right, number 1, council discuss hiring Jeffrey Dixon full-time in the street department. Lloyd?
Yes, his 90-day probation period's up. He's got his CDLs. David couldn't be here tonight, but David says he's working out great. All the guys are driving the garbage truck now. They're all using the heavy equipment. Everything's, right now is going good. So I'd like to make a motion that we hire him full-time. Jeffrey Dixon.
Motion, he's good.
Second.
Motion. Give it to him.
2 weeks.
Discussion? Call a roll, please.
Mr. Patrick Beasley? Mr. Eric Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson? Mr. Dwayne Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Lee Lawson?
Yes.
Mayor Kingsbury?
Yes, motion carries. Number 2, council discuss annual Christmas light contest. I think, Beth, you had that last year. We're gonna do it again. What was it? You remember the dollar amounts?
I think we did 3, 2, 1, 3 for first, 2 for second, and 1 for third.
Okay.
I think is how we done it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it again. The deadline will be December 22nd. That's what I was looking at on my calendar. December 22nd.
22nd?
Yep, it'll be judged by that day. And then the winners will be awarded in January.
Okay.
Anybody wants to volunteer to judge that, I'd be greatly appreciated.
I think in years past, they've tried to get someone that's not associated with
Council.
the council or anything to do it, so we'll try to find somebody that's not
But
involved.
yeah, I've had several people. I mean, like, my mother went out with somebody one year. I've had friends, co-workers, and different people.
Well, that's fine,
Yeah.
as long as they're not associated with us, that'd be great. So, I guess we don't need a motion on that to have it, since we want to do this usual thing. Okay. Number 3, council discussed donate to Shop with a Cop. We did $1,000 last year, and I think we budgeted another $1,000 this year for Shop with a Cop.
Have you talked to Alan, Brian? Because he called me the other day and asked if we would still do it.
I got to talk to him. I talked to Danny a few weeks ago.
Well, I knew he was sick and that's what Alan called and asked me if we were still going to do it. Said he was trying to help with it.
Oh yeah, we've set up to a few weeks back, and we got a lot of money gathered up that day, and plus this will help bring to him another $1,000.
I know that, I don't know if you all are aware of how much this really helps the community, but with me being in the school system, they do about anywhere from 25 to 50 kids out of every school system, you know, so I mean, that's a big deal at our school. I mean, we have 600 people at our school, 600 kids, but I mean, if you're talking about just 25 to 50 kids, I mean, that's a big deal. You know, because you just don't realize how many people are out there that needs help.
No, I was up there last year for a little while when they did it. They did it I believe 2 nights. I was up there one night, and it was amazing at the number of kids, but amazing at the number of volunteers, not just police officers. They was judges and everybody, you know, there's a lot of other people up there helping them, and it's, watching those little kids' faces light up, that's worth everything, so.
Yes, it's a great.
It is,
thing.
it really is. So, $1,000, our motion, we donate $1,000 shopping cart.
I'll make a motion that we donate $1,000 to shop the car.
And I'll second it.
Discussion? Call roll. Call roll, please.
Mr. Eric Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Dwayne Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson?
Yes.
Mayor Stixberry?
Yes, motion carries. Now, number 4, donate to Campbell County Children's Center. We did last year. We also budgeted this year for $1,000 for them. They do great work too. It's, you know, it's, you know, the kids. So, by your motion, we donate $1,000 to Campbell County Children's Center for Christmas.
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Eric Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson? Mr. Dwayne Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson?
Yes.
Mayor Stixberry?
Yes, motion carries. Number 6, council discuss bids, quotes for the bid for the 450 fire truck, Mr. Smith.
Okay, I'll be passed down. 3 bids, we contacted 3 quotes, actually, not bids, but quotes. The third party that we contacted never sent nothing back. There's the last page of this packet here will see the OG Hughes numbers that they give, and the top one from Blazers is actually the cheaper one, the top one. You get one?
No, I ain't gonna hear it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll keep them.
Extra, I'll take that one.
3 different bids I was looking at.
Now, the first 2 pages are together, then the third page is a quote that was given by OG Hughes. Like I said, the first one was actually about $400 less than what OG. The third party never did get back with us, so I make the motion, accept the quote to Blazers for $8,045. Now, this will come out of the same fund that's designated for the fire protection fee. This is the bed that's going on the pickup that was bought.
That form of motion.
I do make that in form of motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Eric Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Dwayne Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson?
Yes.
Mayor Stixberry?
Yes, motion carries. Number 8, council discuss home grant. Kathy, good afternoon, evening. Got a chance to speak to you. Okay, we have a home grant. Okay. We've been in contact with the lady from the home grant. We do have 3 more that are pending, that have submitted applications, and the person that does the inspection, his contract states he'll only come and do 5. We have tried to, I think Teresa has called, you call some pastors of some churches. We need at least 2 more people to apply. This grant, if we don't, we need to move this forward. I have talked to the grant people, and I think Kathy's talked to them also about we've had issues with the dollar amount, and they're not going to budge. I've talked to them, Kathy's talked to them. Basically, they know they made a mistake. They told me that they know they didn't go the dollar amount high enough, but they're not going to back up and change it for this cycle. But they said for the next cycle, there's going to be some adjustments on the next grant cycle. But in the meantime, we've got this grant that I don't want to lose it. We need to do something. We need to try to move along with it as much as possible. That being said, we do have one that's qualified for the grant, and that person is an employee of the city. In the past, this is not the first time that we've had somebody qualify. And I'll be twice, and, you know, we've had 2 people in the past qualify, and they went through with it. Now, I think now with the new grant, there are some stipulations about conflict of interest, and it has to be published in the paper about conflict of interest. And I think I believe, Kathy, if I'm correct, the attorney or myself has to sign about the conflict of interest. Is that correct?
An attorney that will represent the city can sign it.
That's after the paper's run and everything's run in the paper, you know, jump through all the hoops and cross the i's and dot the t's. Like I said, that has been, you know, that's happened in the past. We've had 2 employees that qualified for the grant and did go through it. So, I guess Kathy, kind of help me. I'm sorry.
Let's go to the conflict of interest. I mean,
We're just saying it's a conflict because they work here, is why it would be a conflict because they're getting it, like, but it really isn't, because they've done it before.
okay, so let me get this straight. They're going to restructure this next grant.
Well, they told Kathy, I talked to Kathy and they talked to me also, that the next grant cycle, okay, I guess that's what, 2020, 19, 20?
I'm thinking it'll probably go from, this is a 2-year grant. So
And
it probably will go from 18 to 20.
Okay, so we're talking, we've got another
But
what?
that's different. The last time the council met, if I may,
Go ahead.
the last time the council met and they came up and did their dog and pony show, we talked about that $40,000 for our residents wasn't enough because a lot of our people did not qualify because they needed improvements more than $40,000. And so the board passed, and it's in the minutes, to send it back to Nashville to ask for that $40,000 to be raised. So the grant funds could be used to assist the people that had already gone through the program that were not approved. So when the letter went to Nashville, and I think Representative Powers and Senator Yeager put something with it supporting that, and this is all administered through the Housing Development Agency. And they came back and said, no, they are, that can't be done this grant cycle, and it's on a 2-year cycle from what I understand. So they said that they hope to tweak it next time to raise that $40,000. But that's the problem here, is that our homes need more than $40,000 work, and that's why a lot of people in need didn't get approved. The other thing that we did at that point is I stayed on the phone for a couple of days because the inspector that the city had contracted with through them, okay, the mayor signs a contract and they're the one who gets the inspector out here. That person was from Wartburg. And one of the things that we questioned, I think, was the HVAC came in at $10,000 or $13,000. I don't remember exactly. You all may remember that, but it was just an extreme amount.
Oh, yeah.
And we
Most
know
of the
that
numbers that work.
generally HVAC is contracted out, and that's not a going rate for in this area if they had local contractors. So, as part of that, I stayed on the phone asking who else has been successful in getting them approved because the grant has like $500 a home in it for the home inspector to come in, look at the home, and write up an estimate as to how much it was. Well, so many of our people did not get approved because the estimates were so high. You see what I'm saying? So the estimates were high, and then that threw them over the $40,000 mark. Because of that, they gave me the name of someone, I think he's located in Knoxville, that they've been successful with in other jurisdictions. So I asked for the caryville to be allowed to use this different person and change that contract. But using the Wartburg guy and send us this other guy that, and I think La Follette was using, because they are running through the program too, and I think that this other person was doing it for La Follette. And they've been successful with him, and for him to come out, he needed 5 homes to inspect at a time. Otherwise, because they get paid a very low rate to come out and make the inspection, and they don't make any more money on it unless the person comes in under 40 and becomes eligible. So he asked for a minimum of 5. So
Could
that's
he not
where-
inspect those other homes that were above that, since he's a different
He
inspector?
can, if the city wants to pay the difference and pay for the re-inspection.
So we
The
would just-
grant itself has said for 1 inspection, and that money's been spent with the Wartburg guy.
So we would just have to pay, the city would have to pay for those, I think it was 3 houses to be re-inspected?
Right. That if the city wanted to budget and agree for him to pay him his flat rate, and I threw out 500. I don't really remember exactly how much that was they had allocated per home. It's probably in my notes, because they talked about it that night.
Right.
Of how much is built into the grant, but but he can't re-inspect. He can re-inspect if the city pays it, because the grant will only pay for 1 inspection. So if a home gets inspected the second time, the city can pay for it.
What if the homeowner agrees to pay the inspection?
I'm sure that would
As long
work
as
as
he's,
well.
as long as he's paid other than by the state.
Right, he can't be paid out of that. The grant funds aren't there now for a re-inspection. And then, if you want to consider that, that will go on that can get you there on the additional ones that's needed to get this person out.
Because I think these 3 people that they denied, they wasn't out of range. Some of them wasn't out of range much at all.
I think one, Lloyd, was like $6,000 or $7,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when,
Not much, but it was out
And on one of those that got denied, the highest thing on there was,
HVAC.
no, hello, it was, termites.
Yeah.
the other thing
It
to
was
keep in
$9,000.
mind
Okay, 2 of them came.
with this is you have one person that when the engineer talked about that he was on another grant and it had been approved. And he was at the very end of the grant and thought that he was going to get it before and did not get it because somehow the funds were not available. They went over or spent everything on somebody else's
They ran out before
property.
they got to him.
And they ran out and he was the last one and he got shut out on another grant. And he's on one of the ones that he's
He
close.
got turned down 3 times.
That's one of the grants. That's one I think.
My opinion is, if all we'd be out was would be about $1,500
Yeah.
for the 3 re-inspections.
Somewhere around there.
And I
It's
think-
definitely under 2 and it may not even be $500. Because the thing is, the guy wants $500 because it's not very much at all to come out and
Okay.
write out what
And
they
I
did.
figured it up, the best I can remember, now, don't hold me to these numbers. They could, each one of those line items in that lowest one that got turned down, they could have, they could vary $500 each one of them and get them in to this, this
Because it
number.
was just an estimate. so-
Yeah.
Well,
Kathy, can you find out exactly what this guy charges per home to inspect?
Absolutely. I'm sure it's in my notes from that night.
Because I think there was
And I have a
3.
huge file on this.
there were 3.
And that would put us up to the 5 or 6
Right,
that he
it
needs to
would.
come back out.
Mhm.
And like Bobby said, if we're only out $1,500, $2,000 to the city, I mean, I know that's a lot of money, but still, I think it would be worth it. One, to keep the grant, and two, to try to help out some of our own people around here.
Absolutely.
And we wouldn't lose that money.
Right, and these
Well, now,
people need
you know,
it.
I'm doing anything we can within reason to making sure we help people, plus keep the grant.
Yes.
Right.
Right, that's the thing we're talking about. We're in 17 now, and what they're talking about is we're over 12 months in, and if we don't do something pretty fast,
We're gonna
they
be
have to
out.
have so much work completed by the end of this grant cycle, so they're saying this has got to.
We're gonna be out of
Yeah,
we're gonna be out of
So
time.
it don't have to be finished. It just
I don't think it has to be finished, but I think they have to have started, and it has to be a certain, you know, like we're talking about percentage of
Yes.
completion. And that's another thing that and I want to remind you, what they're talking about is that the problem with this grant is that you can't, by the time the contractor gets paid, all of the work is done before they get their first 50% draw. That it draws 50-50. But by the time that they come out, this home inspector has to make an inspection before he signs off on it to give it to the state F&A, and everybody knows how slow they are. And then they say that the job is done before they ever receive that first draw. So that's why you don't have just everybody, especially HVAC people. Because, you know, they're on a 30, 60 day at the most cycle, and they've got to be able to pay for those units and carry them for a while before they get reimbursed by the state. And that's the number one problem with the grant.
That's probably why you got the market that you got.
Yeah, because sometimes they would probably have to carry those costs for
Right.
6 or 7 months.
Exactly.
And that's a long time to carry. I know this, according to this right here, it says, we need to begin moving very quickly come the spring of 2018 in order to get enough time to get the homes under contract. So we gotta be, you know, we gotta be moving with it.
I will propose that if the council wants to make a motion to pay up to a certain amount, like up to $2,000, I can be on the phone with Heather tomorrow and find out exactly how much it is per amount and what 2 or 3 inspections would be, and be able to assure them it would be budgeted, and Teresa can work to get him out there, and the mayor will be here to sign. I think we may have signed a contract with the new person, but that's why he had to put the 5 minimum in.
I'd
So that
much
was-
rather if our people here in the community than lose, what was it, 350,000? How much was that grant? 350?
I don't, somewhere in that neighborhood, Lord, best I can remember, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah, you know, we need to,
We can afford to spend a couple $1,000s
to get,
to keep that kind of
right,
money.
well, plus to
in our
help our people too.
That's exactly right.
99% return on
Yes, it is. So is that form of motion that we,
I'll make Wayne, or I'll second the motion.
I'll make the motion that we hire this inspector or estimator, whatever he is, to come over here and reevaluate these homes.
And we'll pay
the amount.
not to exceed
Not to exceed
$2,000.
600,
$2,000.
well,
2,000 total, because it's gonna be the same amount for everybody.
okay. Not to
But
exceed
we also need to, we
$2,000.
need to, deal with the one, in the paper, with the article we need to put in the paper.
Yeah, we'll do that right after this motion, we will. All right, go ahead, here's a second.
I second.
Lord, second. Discussion?
Now,
I'm sorry.
that amount is preset in there, so it's
Yes, it would be agreement according to what the grant, the city would
it's not
agree.
negotiable. You can't negotiate that,
No,
it's charges, it's preset to
Well,
the grant.
I would take the position that the city certainly wouldn't pay more than what the state's paying him under the grant.
Okay,
I don't think that would be a problem.
all right. Okay, any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Eric Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Eric Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson. Yes. Mr. Dwayne Gibson.
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Yes.
Mayor Stixberry.
Yes, motion carries. All right, so hopefully we'll get that started and get those people some help. Now, back to the original, like I said, this, like I said, the employee, we've had this in the past. We've had, I know of two that's done this. And I think we need to do whatever we can to go ahead and make it happen. That's also part of this grant that'll help, get things started on it.
I don't see how it would fall in a conflict of interest, because the state is the one that.
Correct. This is
Chooses these
mostly
people.
what, this is just another,
We don't have nothing to.
Correct.
All they're wanting is it in the paper run saying that, it's not a conflict of interest for the city that it's there. And they won't start until it's ran in the paper for however long. But it has to be drawn up by you, correct? Saying that it
Okay,
has to be done by the attorney.
or.
let me start basic. Basic, that if somebody had the right to vote, i.e. this board, and you all use federal grant funds for your personal use, it is a felony federal crime. Okay, now that's the starting point. However, employees, because that's a conflict of interest, that you have the right to vote and you can't ever use it to your personal benefit, especially federal dollars. Okay, now, in this situation, when you come to employees, number one is they can't have any voting powers. They can't be an officer or an official. The officers under the city of Caryville are specified. The city reporter, the city attorney, the city judge are three that have no voting rights, but we're still officers. So we're included with the board and the mayor. So this person is not one of those people. So you look at, the first issue is whether there is a conflict of interest. I hit the books, and I'll be honest with you, I had some serious reservations because an officer receiving money is such a serious charge that you don't want to kind of be iffy on this. You want to make sure that you're solid. I have asked for an MTAS opinion, and I've talked to the attorney twice who is looking at it. She has sent me some of the federal regulations, and at this point they're called CFRs. And you have a couple of conflict of interest statutes with the state of Tennessee. And the state of Tennessee and the ordinance, the big black book here that I carry, neither one of those talk about employees. They talk about officials a lot and they talk about officers, but they never address an employee. So it goes back to the federal level. There is a regulation, a CFR, that looks like that the Federal Housing Agency has addressed whether an employee can receive federal dollars as long as you meet a certain 3 steps, okay? That's what MTAS is looking at, is going to give me a formal opinion, because obviously this affects employees across the state and not just Caryville. So they're writing up a formal opinion. If they tell me that they have determined that it's not a conflict and that it has been addressed by the feds, that it is okay for a state or municipality to provide the grant dollars for the benefit of an employee, then I will sign off on it. So we're waiting on the MTAS opinion, which I asked for last week, and I've included the mayor and Teresa in those emails. And we've been swapping law back and forth. Okay, the criteria, if that person you have, whether, number one, there's a conflict of interest. That's what MTAS is going to decide. The second thing that the city has to overcome or deal with, which is fair, is that because you have an employee, even though you have the legal people saying it's not a conflict, it looks like it could be a conflict. It has an appearance of a conflict because she works here. And because of that, they want it to be put in the paper and there to be invite public comment to see what the citizens have to say about it. Now, one of the issues, and the second criteria is that you have to have an attorney that will represent the city, sign off on it, and the third thing is that this board has to vote to do it. Those three things are to cure, number one, that there is no conflict. If there was a conflict, it would just be cut and dry. You wouldn't have an attorney sign off on it, and that would be the end of it. And the second thing is the appearance of a conflict. So you want to make sure that you solve both of those. So now, one of the concerns of that is whether you're going to spend money to run it in the paper and to use a public facility for the benefit of someone. And that can be cured, and this is the last phone call I had with the MTASC attorney, that it can be cured by putting it in the paper for the next regular public meeting. So there's no extra dollars that's spent. It would be at a regular monthly meeting, and it would be at a regular monthly meeting that you're not using facilities to someone's personal interest. So that is not a problem if you run it with regular meetings that you're going to have. So so they're saying you have to meet the three criteria, and that's what you are.
Okay, so
Does it ever list in the paper who the city employee is, or does it just say a city employee?
I don't know. They sent us the format of what the publication has to say, and I didn't read it in detail. Teresa, did you? We got it by email. I would think that it probably says an employee of the city, because they send it to everybody. They may
Because
have to fill in the blank.
there again, I mean, I understand running it when the city meets and, you know, and stuff like that, that's a good thing. But I mean, you know, you're still trying to help out one of your own, you know, they're a city employee, they work in the city, they live in the city, you know, it's not, I mean, not that that's like conflict of interest or anything, but you know, I mean, it's, if she or he or whoever can get the thing, then, you know, you're right back to the helping out your own.
right.
So, I mean, if we have to pay the money and put it in the paper, I don't think that's a problem.
No, I said, you know, the city itself had no input in who qualifies and who don't qualify. That's why we have an outside firm that administers this, so it takes us, the city, completely out of it. So we have no input on who gets it and who don't.
Right.
Just so happens this employee qualified. So,
And my thing is I'm glad somebody applied for it.
yeah, we've had a hard time getting people to apply. Kathy, do you think you'll have that by December, or January be best? Give us plenty of time to get your opinion back from MTASC.
They will, I'm expecting it back. I called her today, and we're on top of Veterans Day. We'll have it back by, the time the next meeting publishes.
December.
Right.
Okay.
That we'll have it back by then.
And if we have to do a
And
public hearing, we can do it before, can't we? Do
We
have to do-
can't, okay, I'm gonna tell you, I don't feel that the city can pay any money to benefit an employee that they wouldn't spend on somebody else.
Right. But we do
So-
have public hearings for other things. I mean, and if it's your monthly meeting, is it
That
not the
you're
same thing?
looking at a statute that says to the direct benefit of
Okay, so
the
we can,
direct personal benefit.
so we just put in the paper that will be discussed at the meeting?
Right, we just put that's, will be on during that public meeting.
Okay.
And they've given us the publication. And see, there's money in the budget to publish, of course, because of all the publications that are made. I just don't feel comfortable that in order to strictly comply with this statute, that we you should spend it outside of that, when we're doing everything else. That will cure that.
Okay, so we do it at December
Right.
meeting.
And I think that at the December meeting, and by that time, hopefully, if, we can see what the status of the, others. Because you just voted, and if we can get the inspector up here to look at how much those are.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. All right, so, I'm entertain a motion that we publish in the paper that we will discuss this at the December meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second motion.
Discussion, call roll, please.
Mr. Eric Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Beth Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Dwayne Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Louis Lawson?
Yes.
Mayor Tewksbury?
Yes, motion carries. Any further, anything come before the board?
Yes. Turkeys will be here Friday.
Friday.
Come get them,
Okay, please do.
because I don't have anywhere to put them.
All right.
Eddie, you have to go help me get turkeys. That's it.
Do you have anything?
I do.
Go ahead.
I want to know what we're going to do about the wild dogs or people letting their dogs run loose on Oak Lane and Maple Street. Because we've had a lot of issues. I've had my dog attacked twice now. And I'm getting pretty mad. And I know Eugene shot at one. And I'm
Well,
over it.
About all we can do, chief's right there is,
Me and you've talked, what, 3 times about this?
I mean, all we can do is call animal control.
Well, her daughter works up there and they won't dispatch.
Brian, do you have any?
You got any
We
ideas?
do the same thing, we've tried them and we,
I mean, when I came over here tonight, there's 4 in my yard, my front yard. I can't even get my dogs out on a leash and walk them anymore. He went after Dave's Bailey. It's went after, I don't know how many other dogs.
I get the stray dogs.
Do you know?
No, they're actually owned.
Oh, were they? 'Cause
Yeah,
we
they're
actually,
owned.
we got animal control up there one night and we couldn't catch any. They just went crazy.
Oh, no, these are owned and I can give you house street addresses. Because they're opening the doors, letting their dogs out, and then they're just going all over the neighborhood for hours. And I'm sorry, I just am so fed
I
up.
understand, like, our only recourse is animal control.
Oh, I've called the mayor, I've called all the county commissioners, and the state reps are my next one.
Leave the name of the owner's names with
We'll go by and talk to them.
Brian and them back there and see if they can't.
I mean, we're just fed up.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand.
And I know you get a position where you feel like nothing's been done, but
I mean, I got my bow out the other day. I was
I
after
watched
a
one of the
bow.
police officers chase one through the ballpark the other day, Scotty.
Was it
We're-
Max? Was it Eugene's?
Well, McCall was chasing a few of them down through there, but
Oh, yeah.
I got phone calls of why a police officer was out running through the ball field.
we're trying, I mean, but just, if I can get some people's location, we'll go by and talk to them.
I mean, they've put notices, Otis, before he went on leave, put 5 notices up.
Those same dogs that she's talking about, they're gonna cause a wreck too. They're right in the middle of the road down here.
Right, and, it's not safe for the dogs, but it ain't fair to me and mine. I have a 26-pound one.
I understand.
It's a little bitty thing. And when something comes after him,
Like I said, give those addresses to Brian. Brian, please go by and talk to the owners.
Oh, no, we're doing our
I'm just to
best.
the point. I told them,
I understand.
There's a black one, the one I seen was a black one and a brown one.
we have 2 black pit bulls, a white husky, and a white little short thing now. That was what was in my yard this evening, up against my fence, trying to get a hold of
Two I saw was a black dog and a brown dog, and they were pretty good sized dogs.
Yeah, that was Red. He busted his running line. One of the neighbors actually got loose for once.
I seen the dog owners trying to get these dogs back up.
Yeah, I mean,
But they did.
that's one thing, but the ones that just opens their doors and let them run for hours, and one's already attacked 3 other dogs, and they know they're aggressive.
Yeah, like I said, Brian, please take care of that.
I'm so sorry.
No.
I mean, for me to be over here, I had to.
I understand.
I was at my wit's
We've had this conversation before, and now we're
I even went knocked on the mayor's house at 9
We're
o'clock
trying.
one evening when one jumped my fence.
Like I said, and like I said, our only recourse at that time was trying to get hold of animal control, and there's an issue there, so Brian will try to take care of that for you. Anything else come before the board? If not, hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Thank you.
I'm from Southport.
Don't ask me.